Hey guys, welcome to Why Should I Why for this week. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about how to make better decisions. I know I've talked about this in the past, but I have a bit of a slightly different spin on it purely because, well, as you can tell, I've been out consulting and I've been meeting with people and I've seen some things, right? And I want to talk about them. So let's get into that after this. Okay, so as I spoke about in a previous episode, the best way to make a decision is make it data driven, right? You want to have data. If you can find data, do it. We had a similar situation within our team. We have this product called Scrummunicate, which helps Scrum teams communicate with their users. And we have a forgot your password feature. And one of our developers was worried that this feature was a little bit too cumbersome. It was too hard, too many steps to actually recover your password. And so we thought about developing or redeveloping this thing, and it was going to cost us quite a bit of time and money. And so we thought, okay, well, why are we doing this? What's the point? So we went back to our analytics and started to look through the data and figure out. And what we found was in the last 3 months, we only had 12 people that had forgotten their passwords, and 11 of them went through the process and actually were able to recover the password. So we have 11 out of 12 over 3 months. Clearly that sort of data doesn't mean that we have to, at least straight away, invest time into fixing this thing, right? A really simple analysis method for a very astute answer in intelligence, business intelligence. So use data, tip number one. I'm not changing that at all. Number two though, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, I think the best way to make a decision is to look introspectively sometimes and realize the biases that you have within that decision. I have an example. I'm not sure if I talk about it, but what will happen over and over is that internally you'll have biases towards one thing or another. Let's say you have, oh my God, sorry, that's my phone telling me it's Scrum time. I better get into it. Internally we have biases, right? We might have used a different tool in a previous job or something like that, and we have a bias towards that tool. And so when it comes to making a decision for you, what tool to use in this current position, you might bias that way. And you've got to think to yourself, why am I doing that? Is that because it was the best tool at the time? It was because just I'm comfortable with it? What is it that's making me want to think that way, right? So try to think on your biases. Don't necessarily eliminate them, but be analytical about them and think why you have a bias and what that's going to do for your current decision. Okay. The last tip, guys, is a bit of a two-part one, and these are the things that I've learned in the MBA of all places. That, I don't talk about that much, but there are certain things I learned there which were friggin' invaluable. The one of them is be careful about something called executive's dilemma, which is where you've made a previous decision and your current decision is just supporting that decision. A good example is if you've spent a whole bunch of money on, say, I don't know, developing a feature, right? And you don't know if that feature is working or not because it's not in production yet. But what you've found is that there's this huge bug or this huge flaw or huge gap in the needs of this feature, and you have to invest more. Be careful with that decision, because what you're going to go through is something called executive's dilemma, which basically means you're going to continue to increase your commitment to that line of thinking and that decision. Okay, be careful about that. The second part of that, guys, is when it comes to solutioning, right? Don't think that the first solution you find is the best solution. We tend to do that as humans, purely because that's how we're built. We're in the place where we want to fix a problem and move to the next problem. However, fixing a problem may not fix it for the long term, or may not fix it the way that you need it to be fixed. So think on multiple solutions, right? Find other ways of fixing that problem. And once you've done that, once you've got to a place where you've got multiple solutions, then you go through the rounds and actually figure out which one's going to be best for you using an analytical method, hopefully using a little bit of data. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. 3 tips for how to best understand decision making. Cheers.